This week on Hermitcraft.
That in making this place feel alive and feel lived in. Two adjectives that I am very focused on this season. Don't mind me just Googling to make sure that I got adjective correct.
Welcome to the Hermitcraft Recap. My name is Pixelriffs, our writer is SloyXP, captions on this video are provided by Liara. And we're 1 week away from Gamers Outreach. The annual Hermitcraft Gamers for Giving stream will be live on April 11th and 12th, and a full schedule of events and segments throughout the weekend is now available at live.hermitcraft.com. Although don't be surprised if there are surprises. I mean, do be surprised, but we anticipate there might be a few extra unannounced things happening as the stream goes on.
It's Etho's birthday!
He's left, he's gone off. He's gone to eat some reindeer.
We also expect that Hermitcraft videos might be deviating from their typical schedule over the next couple of weeks, as they're not only busy with the charity shenanigans, but also likely to spend some time actually hanging out in person when they get the chance. Which is great news for our show, that we also couldn't get out on time for months. Welcome to Hermitcraft Recap. It's always Sunday somewhere. On today's episode, the Nautilus race saga crosses its finish line, new firefighters are recruited, more maximalist minigames are announced, and DocM77 invents the concept of time, at least if we understand the redstone correctly. So let's take a look at all the events and mishaps that occurred on the Hermitcraft server this week.
I mean, that is pretty satisfying.
Starting with Cubvan135, who just did the Nautilus race recap basically for us.
Good evening, I'm Moon McGee, coming to you live from the starting gate of the Nautilus race course, where today an NRL champion will be crowned. You won.
That makes sense.
And that concludes the Nautilus Racing League.
Presenting the entire episode as a flashy newsreel, Cub really makes an event out of the final Nautilus races, even adding studio interviews with some of the participants, including, for example, Azumavoid, who may have buckled under the pressure a bit.
So I've had a splitting headache recently, but I tell you what.
Well, after a month of running the snail horses dry, a sentence that's only 1/3 correct, the results are in, and Pearlescent Moon is walking away with the shiniest trophy, Etho taking second place and Cubvan placing third. Another triumph of willpower over the Australian internet.
Very impressive stuff.
He's just a little guy that goes brum brum and has a great time, and we're a fantastic partnership there, you know? Wouldn't be here without Fire Truck.
As for why Azumavoid is so scrunched, he just found the trick of having an extra face on his chin very funny. He's actually looking upwards in this footage, but actually, he's not even looking anywhere. Azuma is actually in spectator camera mode, he's just spectating his own player character, while also controlling that character. Which is how his navigation remains this good despite the apparent injuries.
Come over here, there you are, Cub, I'm looking right at you, you know?
Yeah. Cool.
It's pretty cool, right?
This isn't even the most that X has to contort himself this week, as he makes it his mission to convert the drum beat Impulse and Skizzleman made in his music store into an actual in-game music disc, which requires recreating the beats using Minecraft sounds in the Guitar Pro music program, then importing them back onto the server as an audio file. And being an audio file, Azuma makes sure to assign the new tracks their own vinyl colors for the in-game discs, then happily adds them to his collection in the store he decided to name Customs, because it's where you can order custom music discs. Never mind that Customs is also that thing you do when crossing the border, so maybe it's not the best name recognition. Then again, Hermitcraft seems to have an open border with the rest of Britain, given the amount of guests on the recent world tour.
Super weird. Okay, follow me, everybody.
But if it's shared borders we're talking about, the aforementioned Impulse and Skizz do something about theirs this week. Impulse has already been using Skizz's portal to get to the Nether, so as neighbours they decide to team up and establish an official portal at the middle point between their two bases.
Hey! Alright, good.
Sweet, we have it now.
On Impulse's side, it's covered with another Corrales painting and decorated in a tasteful yellow gradient, while on Skizz's side it's a cooler blend of packed ice and smooth quartz. It's thematically appropriate that Impulse's side uses the warmer colours when his super smelter is in such popular demand, so much so that he's worried it'll burn through his coal reserves. To resolve that, he sets up a large-scale kelp farm which automatically smokes everything it produces, setting up the furnace with a lifetime supply of fuel.
I don't want to have to figure out how to fix that with removing signs and redoing all those steps that it took to make the water flow this way. But yeah, this is fantastic.
Skizz, in the meantime, is fueled by positive vibes. He wants to bring awards to the shopping district for the shops that really go the extra mile, like DocM's Whack-A-Shulker, which immediately wins the award for Best Gamified Shop.
But there's not tension. And I love some tension.
Tension's
Story.
good.
Skiz is humble enough not to award his own shop anything at this point, but after Corrales buys out all the mangrove roots, we here at the recap would like to award the sign he left behind for the best example of pictures you can hear.
This is a robbery. I didn't even see that.
It's okay, those diamonds were ethically sourced by Corrales' workforce of his own children.
I kind of feel bad about that. So, yeah.
While he ruminates on which other shops to award, and frankly waits for everyone to get around to building more shops, Skiz returns to his Persona exhibit, presumably so he can wake up, get out there.
The bottom line is stock.
Corrales, in the meantime, works on refilling his treasury by opening his own store in the central shopping district.
Blocus Bonks Topus and Torso Bonkus Maximus. Come with me. We're off to a little adventure.
The Roman Empire gains a foothold on the central square as Corrales raises a legionnaire camp guarded by armored zombies, no less. He did experiment with husks and pillagers, but the cool thing about the green guys is you can just recruit the locals. His exports are, of course, terracotta and marble, though marble is suspiciously quartz-coloured. Gotta put that quarry to work after 2 episodes of building it, even if it's purely decorative and the actual blocks are from some random mesa instead. No one tell him there are now clay farms in Minecraft, his kids need the work.
We have Notius Maximus. Wonder if he knows Bigus Digus in Rome.
There are still no automatic sand farms in the game. Don't look at me like that, those aren't farms, they're dupers. But not according to Etho, who has been TNT blasting his deserts for a few years now. Grian gives that method an honest try, but leaving this much random destruction in his wake feels a little too on the nose somehow. But like it or not, the sand walls from the draining of the river around his observatory are just not enough material to also convert its floor into custom terrain. So he has to break out the shovel and the explosives, if he can find the time between putting more dried ghasts into Joel Smallish Beans' house and dragging Tango Tech to a random ancient city while he's AFK.
3, 2, 1, go! That's gotta be faster. It's gotta be faster.
Perfect.
Right.
That is definitely faster than just pushing him.
They did that, by the way, by putting Tango into a composter, and then attaching it to a flying machine and sending it miles and miles across the roof of the Nether where there's no obstacles. Admittedly, he later falls off his elytra to death, so maybe he should be packaged into a box when transported.
Can I actually get down this mountain now? I don't even know where I died. Where did I die? Hello? Who made this mountain?
Doc M fans get excited, we have the grandiose return of the pulsating cracks. Tango Tech has already built his decked out mountain with massive holes throughout, and now these breakages in the rock got filled in with Skulk, one of the animated materials both visually and lore-wise. In a few spots they even break out into twisting tendrils rising over the mountain range, unless your elytra breaks and you can't get a look at them. Maybe it's this little walk of shame that got Tango thinking about horse accessibility, but he invites Etho to think about it for him, and together they walk the area, planning potential passages, and also realizing slowly that the clouds exist.
These are horrible. These look horrible. Ah, those are the fancy clouds? What do the bad clouds look like? Yep.
Etho comes back down to Earth, both figuratively and literally, as he finally gets to work on a minigame idea that's been brewing since last season. He's planning a big game made up of smaller games with a roguelite spin, akin to Decked Out, but with much different mechanics.
Oh, and by the way, I think I've decided as we build this game, I'm going to invite various hermits over to help play test it, like try it out. And I think it'll also just be fun.
The central conceit is a parkour course with different routes and targets you can hit along the way, with compasses that direct you towards different minigames you need to play, opportunities to earn loot, and snow golems as the shopkeepers.
It's going to be a little bit of a goofy game too, right?
Pottery sherds are going to be used as tokens, which is cool because they kind of have rarity built into them anyway, and a bunch of lesser used Minecraft items pop up for different purposes, like a clock that will give you more time to accomplish your tasks. It remains to be seen whether this is a project people won't want spoilers for, so we'll let you tune into his video for the full description. He also finds it kind of overwhelming to explain, so don't worry if you zone out a little bit while he's going over the redstone stuff.
Idea is to bury these in the ground. You're not going to see any of the redstone underneath the ground, basically.
Back at the base, he goes with an unorthodox approach to a super smelter, which is to make one furnace the star of the show, and just rely on the amount of time he can allow for stuff to smelt in the background.
I didn't want to build this when it was full of lava, so I saved that to the very end here.
Now that his magic ice has spread to many of the nearby biomes, Doc M77 starts trying to capture it in a more organized fashion. The farm uses Frostwalker armor stands as the catalyst for producing a surface the real ice can form against, and eventually a flying machine passes overhead to push an enormous cuboid from the tray.
That's the only downside, farming ice is pretty much just putting ice in a more comfortable to mine position.
When silk touched, it ends up with just over 12 shulkers of material, which is about enough to make half a stack of blue ice. We joke, but the blue ice crafting ratio is so costly that Doc genuinely only has a few stacks to show for it, and might need to stick to dismantling icebergs if he wants the really slippy stuff.
Then we are happy campers after 12 hours plus of Minecrafting today. Mad.
But since he's taking an industrial approach, Doc is keen to find a way that his farms can avoid breaking during the daily server resets. So his hive mind of redstone experts help him with the concept of an atomic clock, an accurate device for telling real time in-game, which not only stays chunk-loaded along with the rest of his farms, but can send a wireless signal to all the others reminding them to stop what they're doing before the server shuts down and restarts. He's doing this using the wireless receivers he was using to teleport everywhere last season, which is a cool use for them after the teleporter has been outmoded by copper golems with lodestone compasses, or firewatch towers provided you're Pearlescent Moon or Impulse. Doc's award for the Whacker Shulker game is drawing the attention of high score seekers like XP Crafted, who is, as always, in competition with Corrales for a high score, but now finds that Scar is the one to beat.
I have not spoiled a darn thing, chat. Look at them over here, XP. They got no trust in me.
It's fine. It's chat. What are you going to do?
Despite the latest build at his base housing a self-described evil corporation, which we're thinking of as the East Copper Trading Company, complete with a waiting area at reception, a boss's office, and a conference room, FedXB is still caring for his fellow hermits in a variety of ways. He drops by Mumbo's base and invites him for a tour of his new warped and crimson fungus farm, which Mumbo assures him won't be featured on the menu of any Italian restaurants anytime soon.
If you come around the side,
Okay.
This is where the spaghetti lives.
I wouldn't necessarily put this in spaghetti category.
Well, it goes up top.
And he also drops off a care package for the recently returned vintage beef.
There's really no one as nice as this guy.
Beef opens this early Easter basket to find a lifetime supply of fireworks and a bunch of useful material, which fortifies him to go looking for the remaining supplies he needs for his first shop build of Season 11. Gathering the wool is no problem, but finding and taming a blaze spawner just so he can have access to end rods proves a little trickier. Wrong fire department, Beef. This is the department that produces the fire.
Probably a month later. Maybe even more than a month.
Continuing to recount stories of his recent move to Portugal, in the background, Beef builds a brightly illuminated shop, thanks to some frog lights poached from the nether roof and some colour choices that remind us of Zombie Cleo's aerobics gear.
We're doing stuff, guys. We've got a shop on the Hermitcraft server, and it always took us how long has the server been open?
The shop is a straightforward non-profit material exchange named Block for Block, which seems to be both a community service and a way for Beef to offload any material that isn't 80s enough for his Season 11 aesthetic. As the market square expands, Ijevin comes back to check on his shops and finds out that at least one of them isn't really pulling its weight. Admittedly, it is a very heavy anchor, but it is sad that his sponge shop is struggling on the same week Grian borrows his ones from Impulse for free.
So at some point, we might want to switch what we're selling. I think this is fine, but I think the price needs to be drastically changed.
Now, it's not easy finding things in Impulse's base, because it's not always where it says it is.
Not to worry, the Dread Pirate Ijevin puts together a plan on exactly how to get rid of his spare items, and characteristically, he decides to bury them. His shop, that looks like a deserted island amidst the sea of other shops, is selling maps leading to custom treasures that he handcrafted and hand-buried, down to creating a transparent map with a red X on it to mark the spot. It's an incredibly roundabout way to go about doing loot boxes on a server where just doing straight-up loot boxes will spawn a Corrales next to your shop 9 times out of 10. But Jevin decided on a theme this season, and damn it, he will adhere to it. Even if this means he has a lot of secret graves to dig across the server.
We want to sell these maps, but we also want to try to trick people into buying maps that are bad. A little bit of pirate deceitery.
False Symmetry learns from experience that one man's trash is another one's treasure, though it is very unclear who it is that tossed a whole cat into a nether portal.
I think it doesn't look like it's got a collar on. Unless they've added, you know what if they've added stray cats in the nether? And I'm just not aware of it. Oh my goodness.
While working on a tunnel design for her base, False found a random untamed kitty roaming around and decided to keep it. We don't know what sins the animal had to commit to end up here, but this does confirm it as Catholic, I think.
I don't even care if you're someone else's cat. They left you in the nether. You don't belong to anyone but me.
False Symmetry does get locked up herself for the crime of making the tunnel ceiling reach to the nether roof, which just means she gets stuck in a hole in the bedrock. Close enough. Welcome back, Minecraft prison community.
Something may have happened, and it was something I was, in the back of my mind, and,
Still, though, her own nether branch seems to have 2 of the 4 walls directed by the natural Minecraft generation. She actually does a great job expanding the purple hallway of the common nether hub, and that's especially nice of her because it's more space to put rewarding signs on during the charity event.
And finally, there's Mumbo Jumbo,
who rescues Pearl and a pair of parrots from the deepest jungles on the server and is humble enough not to brag about it, because apparently his microphone isn't connected to the voice chat mod.
Do I still not have microphone permissions? Why don't I have microphone permissions?
Pearl returns the teleport favor later when Mumbo gets lost in search of mangrove swamps and she redirects him to Skiz's shop instead. But the whole reason she could warp him back to the area is because he's now also joined the fire department, so his Ender Pearl is formally added to the collection of people who could be catapulted 120,000 blocks away at a moment's notice. He is building with this very garage dad aesthetic, which we think suits being a firefighter, especially since he's put this one fire behind bars, and the texturing on the interior really suits the cozy vibe he's going for, making it even funnier when he titles this segment The Back Rooms and freaks himself out looking at a corner illusion.
Oh, I don't like it. Oh, that's horrible. Oh, that's so weird.
And that's about it for this week's recap. Our writer is SloyXP and my name is PixelRiffs. Captions on this video were provided by Liara. Don't forget to leave a like while you're still here and subscribe so you won't miss future recaps. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next week.